Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. It's 6 o'clock. We'll go and start tonight's meeting. Let's please take row.
Commissioner Lydé.
Here.
Commissioner Calandra. Commissioner Diaz. Commissioner Kreiner. Commissioner Shergill. Vice Chair Bray.
Here.
Chair Vang.
Here. Thank you. We'll go and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone, please stand. Ready? Begin. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll go ahead and read the procedures for tonight's meeting. This meeting is being conducted in person and electronically. For each matter considered by the Commission, there will first be a staff presentation, followed by a presentation from the project applicant. Testimony from supporters of the project will then be taken, followed by testimony from those in opposition. The applicant will have the right to a final rebuttal presentation prior to closing the public hearing. In accordance with Section 13 of Article 2 of the Planning Commission Rules and Regulations governing length of public debate, all public testimony from those in support and in opposition of the project would be limited to only 3 minutes per person. The 3 lights on the podium next to the microphone will indicate the amount of time remaining for the speaker. The green light will be turned on when the speaker begins. The yellow light will come on with the south bell ring when 1 minute is remaining. The speaker should be completing the testimony by the time the red light comes on with the final bell indicating time has expired. All in-person public testimony must be presented to the Commission at the podium. Any testimony that references race, religion, ethnicity, economic status, national origin, or any other classification protected under state or federal law in a derogatory manner shall be deemed irrelevant and will not be considered by the Commission in making its land use determinations. If you challenge these land use matters in court, you may be limited to raising only those issues you or someone else raised in oral or written testimony or before the close of the hearing. We'll start with today's meeting with the approval of the agenda. Do we have any changes to the agenda?
Good evening, Chair Vang. Philip Segrist, Planning and Development Department. Staff does not have any changes to tonight's agenda.
Thank you, sir. Any commissioners have any changes to the agenda? Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll move to approve the agenda.
All right, we have a motion made by Vice Chair Bray, a second by Commissioner Calandra. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Motion's approved. Under consent calendar, we have meeting minutes for January 15, 2025. Do we have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Motion to approve the consent calendar.
Well, I'll second that. We have a motion made by Commissioner Lydé, a second by me. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Consent calendar is approved.
Just let the record reflect, please, that Commissioner Shergill arrived at 6:01 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Also, I want to, before we go ahead and go to reports by commissioners, just want to make a note on here that if you're here for item ID 25162, this is consideration of text amendment application number P23033472, and item ID 2582, which is the consideration of text amendment application number P2400794. Those 2 matters will be continued to March 5th, okay? We have any reports from the commission? I see none. Let's go ahead and go to new matters. This is for item ID 24233, consideration of vesting tentative track map number 6312.
Thank you, Chair Vang, members of the Planning Commission. My name is Rob Holt, Supervising Planner with Planning and Development, and tonight staff brings forth consideration tentative track map 6312 and the related plan development permit and related environmental finding. The applicant is Gary McDonald Holmes. The subject property is located in the Copper River area, specifically on the west side of Portofino Drive, just north of Copper Avenue. The subject property is a vacant site currently almost completely surrounded by the Copper River Golf Course, with existing single-family residential to the south and current residential being built to the east. The subject property is planned for low-density residential with medium density to the south, further east, and then low directly east, and the golf course open space to the north and west. The proposed project is a subdivision of 22 single-family residential lots on approximately 9.23 acres, which results in a dwelling unit per acre density of 2.4, whereas the zone district allows for between 1 unit per 5 acres up to 3.5 dwelling units per acre. So within that range, 2.4 is consistent. There is a planned development which will facilitate private streets with a gated entry and modifications to the RS3 zone residential zone district, which will modify the front, rear, and side yard and garage building setbacks, along with a reduction in minimum lot size and width, as well as an increase in lot coverage and building height. More specifications can be found on page 2 of your staff report as to specifically what those cover. There are 2 open space areas, one centrally located there next to lot 22 of the subdivision, and one near the entrance on the eastern side. This went to the District 6 Project Review Committee on November 13th, 2024, where the district recommended approval of 6 votes to 0 with no further recommendations of the project. And the project will comply with all other standard development standards of the RS3 zone district. And to kind of leave it off, I generally like to show what the development would look like over existing development today. There is residential being built to the east there, you can see, with further build out to the south. And so this would add to the Copper River area surrounding the golf course just north of Copper. And with that, staff recommends adoption of the environmental assessment, approval of the map, and the plan development. And that concludes my presentation. Be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, sir. We have any question from the commission? Go ahead, sir.
Do we know the price range for these homes?
I would need to defer that to the applicant.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you. Do we have the applicant here?
Good evening, members of the commission. My name is Gary McDonald. I'm the applicant. We have been out at Copper River now for more than 25 years, getting to this point. We're down to only a couple subdivisions to finalize. And when we finish, there'll be a community of about 11,000 people living at Copper River. So anyway, it's a very wonderful project. We're coming down to the end. And this particular subdivision will be larger lots and on the golf course. So we're very happy to be able to have this opportunity. As you well know, there are not many large lots left. There's no provision in the code for lots that are large anymore. So you have to have 3.3 minimum per acre. So this conforms to that, and we're happy with that. But large lots are hard to come by. And we will be building homes there. We don't know the price range until we finalize all the costs for the subdivision development. We follow up with the staff. We approve all the recommendations they've made. So if there's any question of me, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you, sir. Questions? Go ahead.
Mr. McDonald, I know that at one point, part of the Copper River project was to have some senior housing. Did that ever get built?
There is no senior housing in Copper River per se. We have housing for a lot of people that are aged, but no specific that I know of. I'm sure there's not. To answer your questions.
Thank you.
Question? No.
Thank you,
Thank you,
commissioners,
sir.
and I want to thank the staff for the good work they've done.
Appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and go to the public. Do we have any individuals who would like to speak in support of the project? All right. So we'll go out to the public again. Any individuals who would like to speak in opposition? I see none. We'll bring it back to the commission. Any comments, questions, motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt the environmental assessment, approve the vesting tentative track map, and approve the planned development permit application.
Great. We have a motion made by Commissioner Calandra.
I'll second it.
We have a second by Commissioner Shergill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion's approved.
Thank you very much, Commissioner.
All right, we're going to go ahead and go to the next item on the agenda. This is for the consideration of text amendment application number P23033410.
Good evening, Chair Vang, Commissioners. Philip Segrist with the Planning and Development Department. So this item, to provide a brief recap, this item was considered by the Planning Commission on January 15th, where the Planning Commission, after the hearing, voted to continue this item until March 19th to allow some time for staff to meet with a number of the business owners and operators who were in attendance, as well as those who might not have been in attendance, to present the proposed text amendment, hear their comments and their concerns, and kind of document those. And so staff did do that. Staff did meet with have a meeting here in council chambers on January 23rd. And so now staff is now bringing that back tonight rather than March 19th. And so therefore this item is being presented as a new item tonight.
Philip, before you continue, just want to make a note that let's please be respectful. If everyone's speaking, you're going to get your time and opportunity to speak too. So let's go ahead and let's make sure we're considerate of one another, okay? Thank you.
Thanks. To provide a brief recap of the proposed text amendment, under the current development code, retail establishments that sell tobacco and vapor product are subject to regulations outlined in Section 15-2706 of the Development Code. And that really only provides regulations for signage when a retail establishment is located within 400 feet of a sensitive use. So that would be a school or a daycare or another sensitive use such as a Boys and Girls Club or a youth activity center. And so under this, the proposed text amendment, this would add new terms and definitions to Section 15-6208 of the Development Code. Some of those terms and definitions include smoke and vapor product, smoking paraphernalia, tobacco product, a definition for tobacco retailer, more importantly, a definition for smoke shop, and definition for smoke shop operator. The proposed text amendment will also replace the existing regulations included in Section 15-2706, and it would establish new regulations relating to new as well as existing smoke shops. And it also provides an amortization process for existing smoke shops by allowing up to 49 within the entire city limits. And so that would be 7 within each council district. And to provide another clarification, the smoke shop text amendment, it really is focused at smoke shops and not tobacco retailers, where tobacco retailers such as convenience stores, grocery stores, the sale of tobacco and vapor product is incidental. It's not their primary business operation, whereas smoke shops, the sale of smoking paraphernalia, tobacco, and vapor products is the primary retail operation. And for a summary of some of the proposed changes to Section 15-2706, it would require new smoke shops to obtain a conditional use permit and a business license in order to legally operate in the city of Fresno. It also includes an amortization process for existing smoke shops by providing up to 18 months for existing smoke shops to change the nature of their business or wind down and close their operations, or they can apply for a new conditional use permit alongside new smoke shops. It also, as I mentioned, it does establish a limit on the number of allowable smoke shops within the city. Again, that's 7 permitted within each council district, as well as 49, that would provide 49 citywide. It's not mentioned on this slide, but there is a section, provision in this code which would allow a council member to request an increase in the number of licenses within their district, but that would be subject to a resolution and a council vote. It does provide public notice requirements for when available permits or conditional use permits are permitted. The city, the planning department would provide a notice of availability. It also establishes location restrictions for the smoke shops, so similar to the Responsible Neighborhood Market Act, which regulates off-sale establishments engaging in the off-sale of alcohol. This provides location restrictions that a smoke shop couldn't be located within 1,000 feet of a sensitive use, again, park, daycare, a school, or other smoke shops. And also, there's a concentration. It can't be located in a council district where there's already 7 smoke shops. The proposed text amendment also includes operational requirements. So if a establishment applies for a conditional use permit and they are approved, they would be subject to complying with various operational requirements, and some of those include requirements to maintain landscaping and lighting, abate any kind of a litter or graffiti that might occur at in and around the vicinity of the shop, prohibition on internal, external vending machines, regulations on signage, window glazing requirements to maintain some transparency into the store. It requires business operators to abate, loitering and nuisance activities. There's also training requirements, as well as prohibited products that they couldn't sell. It also provides for annual inspections that each year, if approved, the operator would be subject to an inspection by enforcement to be sure that they're currently operating in compliance with the operational requirements. And it also provides a level of fines for if an establishment is found to be selling to minors or if they are in violation of the signage requirements. So this text amendment was reviewed by all the council district council district project review committees. Public notices for this were published and posted online on December 26th, 2024, and January 29th, 2025. As I mentioned at the beginning, this item was considered on January 15th by the Planning Commission, but it was continued to provide some extra time for staff to meet with the committee members, or not the committee members, the business owners and operators. And so staff did provide a summary of that meeting, some of the comments that we did receive. That's included as Exhibit F of the staff report. Just some of to quickly summarize, the majority of the operators felt that a conditional use permit shouldn't be required, that they should be able to continue operating as a legal non-conforming use, and that the text amendment would potentially shut down a number of businesses. But there were some other recommendations that the smoke shop text amendment could maybe be similar to the Responsible Neighborhood Market Act, and include cancel and transfer provisions to where if a new establishment were to be approved, they would have to obtain tobacco licenses from other existing smoke shops or tobacco retailers and close their operations. And then there were other comments that they were generally in support with, such as the hours of operation, and that's just and some of the requirements that they were generally in agreement with. And so that, again, that summary is included as Exhibit F of the staff report. And just to mention, there are no changes. Staff did not make any changes to the proposed text amendment. Again, we just kind of took direction, met with the operators, compiled those comments, and staff still recommends the Planning Commission recommend adoption of the environmental assessment to the City Council and recommend approval of the text amendment to the City Council. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. And just for clarification too, as a commission, we will either make a decision to recommend approval as is, or recommend approval with changes, or recommend denial to the City Council. Is that correct?
Chair Vang, just an additional clarification. I would also recommend to this body that if there are any recommendations, that they be made today, or else I think the council will deem that as a non-recommendation when it comes to council at their next hearing.
Sounds good. Do we have any questions? Go ahead.
I have a question. My understanding is that Council District 2 does not have a project review committee. Is that correct?
I would have to go back to my staff report, but I believe that is the case, and if they might have been reestablished, but to my knowledge, I believe they don't have a project review committee at this point in time.
So then who reviewed it for District 2?
So it only went to active project review committees.
Okay. Okay, I'll come back.
Any other questions?
I have a question, Philip, and you may not know the answer to this. I believe this came about because of concerns about smoke shops that weren't doing the right thing. I was pretty astonished to see how many there are in each district. Do you have any idea of how many or a percentage of these that are the bad actors? I mean, and the others that are not the bad actors? Do we know that?
I personally do not know that answer.
Phil, I can take that question as the department head for code enforcement. I can speak to only the shops that we've looked at, and the shops that we've looked at, they're obviously based on complaints. So we're obviously going to find violations probably in the ones that we're looking at in terms of them being reported to us. And so I can tell you in the ones that we've looked at, approximately 100 smoke shops, all of them had some form of violation, one or another. If it's a code violation, if it's them having illegal gambling, firearms, drugs, you name it, we found violations on all of them. But that's not really surprising, because again, it's complaint-based. And so so far, the ones that we've looked at, there have been violations in all of them. I will say that we do sometimes select ones at random, and we find violations in those. And so in many of these instances, and actually all of these, we would issue warnings first, and then we would schedule a second inspection to come back and look to see if they've complied.
Philip, question on the annual inspection. Will this be, will they receive like notice ahead of time, or will this be like a complete, just like a random inspection?
Is it okay if I look at the code?
Yes.
Based on my memory, I believe it's they would receive a notification. Okay.
So this is when you have Control F on your PDF. Just.
It says unannounced inspections in section E.
Perfect. Phil, we got it, Phil.
Unannounced.
Unannounced. Thank you. Any other questions?
I just have a
Yeah,
comment. I mean, I'm concerned about the idea of taking this down to 7 in each district. You're putting 515 businesses out of business. And each one of those businesses not only have an owner, but they have employees. And I have a real concern with that.
Provide a little clarification. It's not 560 plus businesses that would be forced to close. There's approximately 564 tobacco retailers throughout the city of Fresno. That would include smoke shops. So the 564, that's your Vons that has tobacco product, your general convenience stores. I also noticed some of these included restaurants that might sell cigars, and even a country club that sells cigars in their pro shop. So they are of that 564. But of that 564, approximately 81 are smoke shops, but that 81 is based on data from the state as far as licensing goes and possibly business tax certificates. And it sounds correct, it's probably a little more than 80.
And I don't want to get into too much legal analysis. I'll just refer this body back to a memorandum that we issued on February 13th that really outlines I think some of the concerns that you've raised, but again, that's an attorney-client privileged document that the privilege belongs to the city. So I strongly urge you to go back and look at that document.
Can I ask another question? I didn't realize there were only 81 actual smoke shops. So how did you inspect 100 if there were only 81?
Some of those were repeat visits, and so they include the initial inspection and a follow-up. There were also other locations that weren't necessarily exclusively smoke shop, so there were some of those as well. We had some cultivation sites as well that was included in that.
Go ahead, sir.
First, for public purposes, I would like to say that I was reached out by Mr. Strine. He's actually sitting there, and he asked me for the information for Councilmember Arias' office, so I did provide him the information. Now, the other thing is, while you had the meeting, with the business owners, did you come up with some kind of solutions? Because, is there, the thing is, we all have everybody got their feelings, but these are businesses. These people have built their businesses. I mean, they have, like I said, my colleague said, they got employees, they got bills to pay. They do bring in tax revenue to our city. So how did in a summary, how did the meeting went? Because the communication needs to be two-way communication between, both parties.
Okay. We received the feedback, the comments from the business operators, the owners, what they were concerned with, what their agreement with, but we weren't there to provide solutions at that point in time. It's not what we were generally tasked to do.
And Commissioner, if I can just jump in, I mean, really, those are policy decisions, policy recommendations that can be made by this body, and then ultimately policy decisions that need to be made by council. And so if there's any direction from the council or the city manager to go and get into any type of negotiations, obviously we would follow our orders. But again, those are policy calls and recommendations that could be made by this body or the city council. And Commissioner Bray, I want to get back to your last question too, and Phil, correct me if I'm wrong, that 89 number, those are licensed smoke shops, correct? And so there are smoke shops that we're also looking at as well that are unlicensed, and so that's how you get over 100.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Phil.
Mm-hmm.
We'll now go to the public. Do we have any individuals who would like to speak in support? Again, this is to speak in support, okay? If you're not, are you going to speak in support or against?
Yes.
Support?
In support.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead, state your name, address, and you
evening.
have 3 minutes.
My name is Armin Barian. I'm the owner of the Glasoras Distribution. We are servicing the smoke shop across the California, not only the Fresno, also out of the state. And the question here that the Smoke Shop Association were raising, that I understand there is a lot of bad smoke shops that don't have even the smoke shop license. They're committing the business in the area. Even they are agree for the city to close them down, but to close as well the legit smoke shop that they're doing the legit business. I don't think that's a good thing to do to these people. They've been in the business 15 plus years. I've personally been in this business 20 plus years. And I've never seen anything like this, that a city is going after the businesses, anti-business type of a thing right now. It's, in my opinion, excuse me for that. But this is not good and a healthy environment for right now for Fresno, and the economy is not doing good. These people are the taxpayers. Go ahead and close down the ones that are illegal. They don't have a proper licensing. And go ahead and do grandfathering the existing smoke shop, and the newcomers, let's to go under the conditional use permit. I mean, like you guys proceed with the rest of the businesses. If I'm aware of, if I'm not mistaken, that was the liquor stores and the convenience stores that been grandfathered in before 2-3 years ago, whatever. I don't even remember right now that. So why the legit businesses have to go and close down, get closed down, and then being chosen by the lottery system who's gonna stay, who's gonna leave in the council districts? So 7 of them, I think there's 80 smoke shop around. That's what I have in my system. Actually, I'll be honest with you. I don't see any 100 smoke shop in this city. If there is some other businesses that conduct in the smoke shop business, just close them down without even asking, do you have a permit or not? If they don't have an actual permit for the smoke shop, they shouldn't be even operating that business. If it's a market, close it down. If they're doing the smoke shop business, why just go and also close down and force them to go under the CUP? These people were issued licenses by old ordinance 400 feet, and right now you forcing them under 1,000 feet. City issue 400, city issuing 1,000 right now, trying to do the ordinance with 1,000 feet. Grandfather in those before you proceed with the new one. And
I'm going to have you go
hundreds
and
of
wrap it
people,
up, okay?
hundreds of people will lose their jobs actually doing that. Not only the owners that been there for 10, 15 years, but also their employees.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate it. So just to be clear, again, we're going out to the public, and this time right now, individuals who are going to speak, you're speaking in support of this potential text amendment, okay? Go ahead. Please state your name, address, 3 minutes. And again, everyone, if you can, please be considerate of one another. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, so I have to state my name and address first? Okay, Abel Arevalo, 12533 Luxor Avenue. I'm sorry, I don't actually live in Fresno County, but I work in Reedley. My name is Abel Arevalo. I'm the co-chair of the Fresno County Tobacco-Free Coalition. I want to thank the Planning Commission for allowing me the opportunity to share public comment on this matter. While the coalition appreciates the intentions behind the smoke shop ordinance, we also ask you to consider the public health impact of all tobacco retailers in our community. Regardless of type, these stores contribute to oversaturation of tobacco availability and exacerbates health inequalities in Fresno. Tobacco is still a problem in the community. There are approximately 564 tobacco retailers in the city of Fresno. Only 15% of those of them are smoke shops, leaving 483 stores unregulated. Despite federal and state laws to regulate tobacco retail the tobacco retail environment, there is evidence that violation of these laws still occur. In 2020, the Fresno Police Department conducted undercover decoy operations among all types of tobacco retailers. They found that 21% of them in the city of Fresno sold tobacco to youth. Unfortunately, illegal flavored tobacco products are still available for purchase in Fresno, and there is evidence that they are being sold at all types of tobacco retailers, not just smoke shops. During tobacco retail observations in 2024, in the city of Fresno, the Fresno County Department of Public Health found that illegal flavored tobacco products were available at 92% of non-smoke shops, for example, liquor stores, convenience stores, and grocery stores. Unfortunately, the Smoke Shop Ordinance and existing ordinances, such as the Responsible Neighborhood Market Act, do not regulate tobacco products, including flavors. A tobacco retail license, or TRL for short, is an equitable policy that would address all retailers who sell tobacco. It addresses inequities in how tobacco products are marked and sold in different communities. It also protects the stores that are complying with the law and holds those who are not accountable. This is ensured through enforcement model consisting of inspections, compliance checks, and a tiered penalty structure, which would include fines, license suspensions, and revocation of license. It is best practice policy adopted by over 230 jurisdictions in the state and proven to reduce the initiation of tobacco use among youth. While smoke shops are a concern, the need to address illegal tobacco sales among all types of tobacco retailers is apparent, and a TRL could be part of a sustainable solution. The Fresno County Tobacco-Free Coalition is well-versed in TRL ordinances and would greatly appreciate the opportunity to collaborate with the Planning Commission on this critical public health issue. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other individuals who would like to speak in support? Please state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
Hello, my name is Aaron Galindo. My address is 4330 West Vassar Avenue. And thank you all, planning commissioners, for listening to me. I am a volunteer for Advocates for Tobacco Abstinence Coalition. And our main focus and our main mission is to prevent tobacco use for the youth. And for me personally, I live in District 1, and 22% of tobacco retailers are within close proximity zones of school zones, and there are a total of 76 retailers in my community. Even though that percentage may seem small, a lot of students, such as within the Central Unified School District, have a lot of school bus routes that they go to that they encounter these tobacco retailers and are subjected to seeing this forbidden wall where they see tobacco products such as Marlboro, Zins, and much more other products. And I do appreciate your safety concerns about this as when you guys speak about the smoke shop ordinance, but I believe that the tobacco retail licensing will be a better solution because it won't act as an enforcement to these smoke shops and tobacco retailers, and subject to them losing their businesses. It will help them go to a better step in the direction of knowing these policies and knowing the law better, because when going for the tobacco retail license and paying for it, it will help them get an education system rather than the smoke shop ordinance, where it won't provide that, as well as with the smoke shop ordinance won't provide funding for the enforcement. So who will be paying for that in a sense? And so I believe the TR will be a much better solution, and it won't solve everything for a lot of the nefarious stuff that do happen at these smoke shops and retailers, but it will be a right step in the direction to being a sustainable solution for it. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Any other individuals who would like to speak in support? All right. We're going to go ahead and any individuals who would like to speak in opposition? Please state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Chairman Vine. My name is Todd Weinkoop. I'm an attorney at McCormick Barstow, and I'm here on behalf of the California Smoke Shops Association. I had kind of prepared remarks, but what was said here tonight is more compelling. You heard the two people that spoke in favor of this saying that it was targeted at a specific group. That targeting is the problem. It's targeted at a group who owns smoke shops. It's not intended to solve this overall problem that Mr. Jans is talking about. And that targeting is being done retroactively. That creates the second problem. You are not talking about changing the rules moving forward. As Commissioner Bray and Calandra and Shergill pointed out, you're taking away an investment-backed interest of individual businessmen, and you're doing it in the name of some amorphous number that you can't be told. Staff couldn't tell you how many smoke shops there are licensed. Mr. Jans is telling you there's 100+ investigations that went on, but nobody actually knows how many smoke shops are licensed here. We believe the number is about 100. That means on this ordinance passing, this ordinance will put 61 businessmen out of business. To the council, the commissioner's earlier questions, what if 50% of them are bad actors? That means you're putting 30% of legitimate businessmen out of business without a hearing. So I don't know what's in Mr. Jan's memo to you, but I will tell you I've prepared 2 motions that went to the Supreme Court. I'm a land use lawyer, and I believe, as submitted in our comments, that this ordinance violates numerous provisions of the U.S. Constitution and the state constitution, and most critically, it takes hardworking individuals, their employees, and puts them out of business. I'm frankly astounded that this ordinance has staff approval and has reached this point. I have no other comments, but I'd be happy to answer questions.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Go ahead. Please state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Nick. I live at 2821 East Spruce Avenue in beautiful northeast Fresno. Commissioner, I'd just like to draw attention to the comments made by the previous speaker, speaking in, the final speaker, speaking in support of the text amendment. I don't think anyone here is in favor of the youth picking up a tobacco addiction. I know coming from a military background, there's a huge proportion of those in the military who use tobacco. For a lot of those, the time has come for us to transition from tobacco to not tobacco. Personally, I was a user of chewable tobacco, right? The chew dip, if you will. And in 2020, I made the decision to get off that. And luckily, some of these tobacco substitutes were available for me to do so in a legal, non-carcinogenic manner. That being said, a lot of the businesses we're discussing right now offer some of those solutions to those who are trying to get off smoking, who are trying to get off chewing tobacco. I'd like to also point out that Commissioner Calandra's assessment was astute, that we are taking businesses out of a legitimate business operation. I'd like to point out that Commissioner Shergill's observations were astute, that we are taking business owners and employees and potentially removing them from the legal practice of their business. And I'd like to draw a final observation that Commissioner Calandra's other observation that District 2's Planning Review Committee hasn't actually gotten a chance to review this because they haven't been assembled yet. With those, I'd like to thank you for your time, and I'll see the rest of the floor.
Thank you. Do we have the next individual? Everyone, if you have your phone on, let's please put it on silent. Please state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
Yeah, my name is AJ Rasamni. I'm the president of Black Merchants Association. I live 2672 North Arroyo in Clovis, in Fresno, I mean. So, you know, I did ask Philip right now, when we met last month, did anything change in this text amendment, especially after we had a discussion here, then we met with him in person. He said nothing has changed, just notes have been added. So no changes has been done since last month. The same concerns that you had last month, that still exist today. So I want to say first, I don't smoke, but I believe that we live in America. People that want to run a business, they have the right to run it, as long as they follow the law. So nobody, if somebody break the law, we say close them down. And everybody over here will say the same thing. So the 49 smoke shops, so how are we gonna choose 49? Those people that invested the blood, sweat, and tears to open a business, this is the only thing they know what to do. they purchase a house, they purchase cars, they put those kids in private schools. Now I'm going to tell them, you're out of business, you're going to go bankrupt. Who's going to pay for them for all the losses they're going to have? So we cannot just say it's going to be 49. We need to grandfather them in. And there's the code section 15404 saying when the city changes the rules and create a CUP, then everybody that exists in business should be grandfathered in. They should continue as illegal, non-conforming. So those people cannot be closed. If they're going to be closed, it's going to be a big lawsuit against the city, and we don't want that to happen. So the amortization for 18 months should not exist. It should be grandfathered in. There should be legal, non-conforming. All smoke shops, something about the landscaping. They said they need to keep the landscaping. All these businesses, they're not standalone business. They're in a shopping center. They cannot control how the landscape is going to look outside. They can control, I mean, it's not in control. There's management company that will make all those decisions. So you cannot put the responsibility on the smoke shops to do those changes. It's not in the power. When they say they should not have loitering. So we have so many cases when the code enforcers went there and the detective went there. Something in the next building, I mean, we have cases in the next building, behind the trash can, the next building at the trash can, they give a notice to a smoke shop that's in a separate building, 1,000 feet away. They give him notice that he's responsible. So where do we draw the line when they're going to be responsible? We have another case in a big shopping center. In the back, they have a lot of trash, a lot of boxes thrown away. They came to the smoke shop and said, hey, you're responsible. That's in a shopping center. It's not his. So where do we draw the line saying what they're responsible for loitering, what they're not responsible? So I suggest it should be maybe within 20 feet in front of their shop or something like that. So it has to be limited. It cannot be an abstract.
I want you to go ahead and let's wrap it up, okay?
Okay. I would say when the city attorney said that 100% of the shops that visit, that's some kind of violation. Any business, brick and mortar shop you visit today, you're going to find violation. Only just a cable running on the floor, that's going to be violation. So it's easy to say violations, but what kind of violation?
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Let's go ahead and have the next individual. Please state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes, sir.
Shaddad Sufyan, 5940 East Mono Street in Fresno. Good to see you guys again. We were here last month speaking about the same situation. We tried talking to the city. We tried meeting them. We tried meeting halfway. We understand their concerns. We get it. Trust me, I'm all about making things work, doing the stuff the right way. Unfortunately, we're not being heard. What we're trying to tell them is, look, we are on the same team. Are we perfect? No. Do we make mistakes? Of course. Help us help you. Tell us how we can meet in the middle. There's no need for anybody to lose. You guys do not have to lose. We don't have to lose. Our shops are 21 and over. Nobody comes in that's young. When they try to come in, we tell them, sorry, you can't come in. Give us some rules that make sense that we can actually do. We want to be able to implement them. We want to be able to be there for 5, 10, 15 years. You know, we don't want to be guessing our future. Can I stay? Are they going to leave me? Are they not going to leave me? It sucks and it's hard. Just tell us what we can do to stay open, to keep being part of the community, we don't want nothing for free. We don't take charity. All of us in here, we all work for everything we have. Just give us a shot, give us some fair rules and regulations like everybody else. Tell us this is what we need, this is what you have to do, and we'll do it. We have no problem. We have no problem. When they say there's violations being made, I believe them, but what are they? You're talking about small blunt wraps or a light bulb or a broken mirror or whatever. Look, we're not perfect, but we can get there if you guys allow us to get there. But to tell everybody or half of them, hey, half of you guys have to go, change it into a McDonald's, we can't do it. We can't. Basically, today what's trying to happen is they're trying to close down small businesses. That's what's happening. It doesn't have to be that way. We understand the concerns. We don't want kids smoking tobaccos. We'll check the IDs. We'll close on time. We'll clean up the shops. We'll look at the rules and regulations if they make sense, and we'll follow them. That's it. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you, sir. Next individual, please state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Adi, and I live in District 5. As far as the citations, those glass displays that you have in the stores, like even in the nice stores, they already come with the LED light in it. So when the code enforcement goes to the store, they said, oh, you can't have the light in there. So we get cited. I just got cited for those, that you can't have the LED light in the displays. So when Mr. Jan says they went to 100 stores and everybody got cited, that's what he's talking about. And the other stuff is the rules are not clear. None of us know. We have no list. The explanation provided by the state is so vast that we're just reading, 50, 100 pages, but none of us are lawyers. We can't make out what to sell and what not to sell. And they identify stuff they're taking, like illegal cannabis. There's a stuff called CBD, which is derived from industrial hemp. And there's a bill, farm bill in California, which allows us to sell it. But when they go in there, they say, no, that's illegal cannabis. So now we are getting a citation for something we couldn't understand that we're allowed to sell or not. And this ordinance we're talking about hasn't even passed yet. So what are they enforcing right now? I got raided in one of my stores a few days ago. 20 people showed it. There's like 10 cops, 5 people from health department, 5 people from code enforcement, 2 people from CDTFA. When they go in, my employee is still scared to work in the store. They basically get out of from behind the counter. They put him in the corner. He couldn't call me and tell me that he's being raided, so I could go and help him out. They went through his lunchbox. They went through his, he had a little bag with his stuff in it. They went through that. So he's telling me like, man, I can't work there. And they cited him. The citation I got is under his name. So now I don't know if I'm going to have that employee or not. So it's the little things like that. So if the ordinance hasn't even passed, again, so what are they enforcing right now? So we're trying to put regulations on top of our regulations. And not just regulations, regulation by enforcement. Why don't the city and everybody just come into all these stores? Give them a notice. We're going to come in and we're going to tell you what is legal and what is not legal. Go through the store so that way we know we cannot sell this item. Don't cite us for something like that. Just come in voluntarily. Give us a date. We're going to come on this date and we're going to go through the whole store and then we're going to tell you what you can and cannot sell. And if we are shutting down the businesses, like you said, then we should be compensated fairly so we can get into another business. You just can't shut down business like there's 1,000 feet they're proposing. One of my stores been there since 2005, and they just built a new school there. So now I'm within that 1,000 feet. The school just being built right now. I think it's going to open this year.
Have you go ahead and wrap it up. Okay?
Yeah. So that's all I have, so I'll just end right here. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have the next individual who would like to speak in opposition?
Good evening, Sam Osamari, 6067 North Fig Garden Drive. Just kind of continuing on what my colleagues are saying, it's the same fight, the same scenario every time we come up here. We already have our restrictions and laws from the state. When they give us the new CDTFA, gave us new rules and regulations as of January and as of February. So the laws are getting more stricter for us from that side of the playing field. The city needs to align with the state and look at their laws and see we're already getting attacked for this 321, severe punishment, fines, warnings, suspension, revocations. We already have that in play from the state. And when Andrew Jans is saying code enforcement is seek the 100 stores with the 100 violations, that's impossible. There's only 80 stores legally licensed in the city. How did you get 100 stores? And all the violations we encounter, everybody behind me, it's either like a light bulb, electric wire on the floor, or a plug. You can't have a regular cord plugged into your wall. It has to be professionally ran. So it's like violations based on your building itself. When they're looking for that violation, you will find it. Anything you look for, you're going to find. Anything that you're here to find something. I can't leave without nothing. It's almost like I get in trouble if I leave here and they're clean free. There's no violations here at all. If you go into any restaurant today, you're going to find 100 violations regardless if you decide to attack restaurants today. It just depends on the industry that they're attacking at these times, the smoke shops. Again, we have employees, like you said. We have a lot of employees. Our employees have daycares, babysitters. It's almost like a pyramid effect for the whole economy itself. It's not just what's going into our pocket, our employee pocket. They got daycares they got to pay for, food. They go shopping as well, gas, car payments. We have mortgages. We have insurance payments, you know, Blue Cross, Blue Shields. A lot of people have their private insurance they pay for too. And, you know, at the same time, everything that we are attacking, we abide by the law. We have a business license. We have structures. We've been there since 2000, some of us 2005, the year 2000, 2010, abiding by every single law. And the laws are changing every 6 months, and we're trying to cope and adapt with them. Code enforcement comes in. Today they told us you can't sell this. The same code enforcement comes tomorrow and says, no, you cannot sell it. So it's like a contradiction within itself within 3 or 4 day time frame. Give us a structure of what we can and cannot sell, do or don't, and we'll abide by that law. Until then, you're coming in here guns blazing, and we're scared against the wall, like, okay, whatever they say has to be true because they're the law. But they contradict themselves every 2 to 3 days when they come into your shop. And it happens last time after we left here. We left here with last meeting, 5 or 6, 7 of our shops got attacked by code enforcement, by police department for no reason. Oh, your light, nope, that's a permit. I need a permit for that light bulb. I need a permit for that glass showcase to be right here in front of me when I walk in. It's little tiny things that they will find in your shop to help close you down. I got a citation. They didn't give me the citation. They sent it to my landlord. So they're redirecting the citations back to your landlord. Hopefully he shuts you down. You know, that's a setup for failure.
Let me have you wrap it up, okay?
All right, thank you.
Next individual who would like to speak in opposition. Let's go ahead and have the individual in the back. Go ahead and state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes, sir.
Thank you. Hussein Alfera, 4059 West Clinton. I know a lot of, like, the smoke shop, they call us the smoke shop. We're just another retail store, just like everything else, just like the liquor stores, just like, you know, dispensaries. We're just another business. And it makes it seem like we're all bad people, you know. For the last 5 years, you know, my business in our territory, our area, we do a turkey drive. Every year we have about 400 to 500 turkeys donated every Thanksgiving. People like, it's a routine. We just get phone calls. You guys are doing the turkey drive. You guys are doing a turkey drive. We give to the community sometimes, and a lot of other businesses do that too. And this last year, we only had about 150 turkeys. We're not sure, as all of us don't know, are we going to be looking for a job? Am I going to have to pay my remaining rent? What do I do next? I mean, I've been dedicated 15 years of my life, about half of my life into this. What do I do now? I can't just, you know, go look for a regular job. This year I had people come in, they're in line, I'm sorry, we ran out of turkeys. Well, uncertainty, we don't know what's going on, and we don't know our future. And as days and days goes by, we can sell one thing, we can't sell another thing. I don't know no other business in the United States that one day you can sell this, one day you can't. One day you can sell a Fabuloso, but you can't sell this Comet. That's how it is with us in the smoke shop business. It's changing every day, and we don't know. You look at it, you can go to a dispensary at the age of 18, but you can't go to a smoke shop until you're 21. It doesn't go together, and that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. Next individual. Go ahead and state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
Yes, hello. Yes, my name is Daljit Singh Sarai, and address is 9667 North Whaley Court in Fresno, California, 93720. And as many of our members from the community, business owners and employees, they are gathered here in front of this commission, I would just like to raise a few objections as to this ordinance. First of all, the issue is here I'm seeing is that the businesses that are following the rules, that there are business owners, there's good apples and bad apples. Because of there are people who are bad actors, I believe that people who are law-abiding citizens, they're following and they're running these businesses, they're also being penalized and they're also being harmed in terms of, as we see that, their stores are being raided with multiple agencies and employees are being harassed and they're being punished for things that do not even connect to their stores, as many members have said, that there's issues of either trash or some violations that have been done by someone else, but the smoke shops are being targeted, which it just shows that this whole ordinance, and there are members who are in the city who are pushing for smoke shops to fail. They're being set for failure. And the other issue here, as members have also noted, is that in terms of what is banned and what is not banned, the city of Fresno, they have not published a list as to what our businesses they have not seen. The state of California, in as few counties, there have been list issues, but not every county has issued the list on prohibited items. What has happened in some stores, the Swisher Sweets, which is, it's not prohibited under state law, but these law enforcement agencies and code enforcement, they're going to the stores and they're picking them up and confiscating them, saying that they are a prohibited item when they're not. So there needs to be a clarification on this matter, and a solution needs to be found that the businesses that are pre-existing and they're following the rules, they need to be grandfathered in. And the people who are doing bad things, if one smoke shop has illegal gambling, strike one, shut them down. That's how this matter would be solved. And I would just request our commission and members of the city to look into this matter and find a solution that makes a win-win situation for both, for the city and for the business owners. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Go ahead. Please state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
Mohammed, 5665 North Blackstone. Good evening. This is just happened 2 weeks ago, and of course, I have the code enforcement come to one of my shop, which I was the most rated last year of 16 times. There is zero evidence they have ever taken from my shop, and I talked to Jörg Valdez. I'm sure you know him, Andrew Jones. He told me he worked under his administration, and he did come to me last week, and I want to ask him this. Do you ever have any training for him to be in any smoke shop, which is zero? He been taken, like what this guy's just telling you right now, take every legal, it's legal by the state, not Fresno, by the state of California and CDTFA, which is sweet Dutch, sweet switcher, unflavored name, a vape. And then they did take it and it was not there. This has happened, and I forgot the date. It was the 14th, actually, of this month. And then I called the CDTFA, they was not with them. And then he's like, I'm sorry, they should not be taken. I show him the invoice. He called Chris Hodge, Northeast District, and I'm sure you know him. And he told me, I'm sorry. He said the F word. I got fucked taking him. Come take your stuff. I said, well, first place, do you been training to be in my shop? I've been having this conference with you last year. He's like, no, but I'm the law here. I say, you're the law to come drag an illegal gun. You literally take my gun and like, I have a license for it. And he's like, you can have your gun. I say, this is a kid conference here. You work under Andrew John's office. You been come to my shop. Actually, it's one of the tickets I have here. You can see it. There is nothing inside this that he ever can prove is legal for him to take. And then I talked to him. He's like, come take it. I said, no, I'm not going to take it. I'll see you in court. This is the 16th time in 12 months you come to my shop. There is nothing illegal for him to take. The city of Fresno, before they sent all this code enforcement and cops, they should approve it to us. There is a list of where we can sell, where we not can sell. Did they ever train their people? Where we was talking to him last time when we was here, I guess it was number 25. He's like, I don't have no clue. They not know where they didn't know where they're gonna come take from us or what they're gonna leave for us. What they doing? They just target smoke shop, and we know like why is that and why is behind it. They concern us as a bad business people. I mean, maybe in the future, yeah, we used to have vape and stuff back in the day when the ordinance come. We all clean our business. We all being very straight. We try and be one, but they really don't give us this chance to prove us. They send, actually, I have a witness. EJ was here. He was in my shop, me and him fixing a computer. Code enforcement police come. They come search my shop. If you let him speak, he'll tell you. I didn't have to speak about it. He was witness. I wasn't there, by the way. He was
Go
there.
ahead and have you wrap it up.
And 2 weeks after, they sent him a letter, told my landlord I was selling illegal drugs. He was there. They didn't take nothing. They just want to kick me out of there. When I asked my landlord to call the code enforcement and the cops to prove it, and then I'll leave. They couldn't prove it. He's like, you know what? You're going to stay. They have no proof about you. I'm just telling you, you send in people, they have no clue where they are taken.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next individual. Please state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Adrian Serrano. I live at 1241 Broadway Plaza, and I understand that this commotion in the council or with the smoke shops, this is about the improper distribution of tobacco or the improper distribution of tobacco to minors. And I wanted to address the safety and like the regulations and how things are being performed in terms with like code enforcement coming back to these smoke shops multiple times, in which I'm an employee of one of these smoke shops, and they would come and they would take things and then they would not probably be even related to tobacco like CBD or other things of sort, and then they would leave. We would then get another check, and they would take things that would have already been there prior to the previous investigation or inspection, I'm sorry. I also want to talk about external things that are related to the smoke shops, not just about like minors and the improper distribution to minors, but I want to talk about like the homelessness and drug use and their safety when it comes to buying paraphernalia from these smoke shops, in which I think people who need their drugs or vices will ultimately find a way to have access to them. And I believe without these smoke shops, we would have much more dangerous methods and much more serious health complications from people who may be homeless or people who are doing drugs themselves, because we know that homeless people are not the only people that are doing drugs. This shouldn't be the truth, but it is, and just because it is the truth does not mean that it's right. And I believe that there should be more resources or accessibility when it comes to people needing drugs or needing the paraphernalia to do drugs. When that comes to money, food, and housing, we even have people living paycheck to paycheck. It's not right that people need drugs in order to sustain their lives, but I fear that without these smoke shops, there might be complications, not just with employees or bosses or even the smoke shops themselves and the way that they handle things, but like there will be external backlash. I just had to put my 2 cents in. Thank you for allowing me to speak my piece.
Thank you. Next individual would like to speak in opposition. Please state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Zachariah Al-Hamidi, 11211 North Alicante Drive. It's my first time speaking in front of people, so I might be a little shy, but my biggest concerns are when the times that they came to my shop, they would take most of the stuff, you try to ask questions, they cannot give you any answers back, and when they take the stuff, they'll go take the same, let's say, Swish or a pom-pom, there's 15 in the box, they'll take 11 and they'll leave me 4. And they'll walk out of my store leaving me 4, leaving me the same things that they just took. And it keeps me conflicted, like, why did you leave it? Is there a reason? Are you trying to test me, see if I remove it on my own? Is it something that doesn't belong there? And then at the same time, they hit 2 of my shops on the same day, and both shops have the same stuff. At one shop, they'll take this, and this, Swisher, like sweet, diamond or a platinum flavor, which I don't know what flavor platinum is. And then next shop, they won't take the same item they just took at the other shop in the same day within 20 minutes of each other. So it was very conflicting for me, like, to understand, like, how everyone is saying is what we're allowed to sell. What we're allowed to sell. That's all we want to know is what are we allowed to sell. If we don't know and the law keeps changing, and the first 2 times they came to my shop those days, we had a whole row of hemp wraps. They never touched the hemp wraps. I mean, I have a wall of hemp wraps. Then they came back following a few months later to my shop again, and they took all my hemp wraps. And when I went there, my employee was there. She let me know, hey, they're here. So I went there to go talk to them. You got 8 officers. You got 10, 12 people there. I'm trying to ask questions. None of the officers, nobody wants to respond to me. I'm like, hey, like, I just want to know, like, why you take it? I'm not going to stop you, but I just want to know. And they can't give me a response. And as I'm there in front of them, surrounded by cops, the officer tells me I can't be pacing 2 steps back and forth. He sits me down in cuffs in front of my own store for 10 minutes, writes me a ticket, gets me back up, takes the cuffs off, and then when I ask him, after that, I'm like, no problem, that doesn't bug me. Okay, now can you please tell me what's the reason the hemps got took when you guys didn't take them last time? All he was telling me is laws change every day. That's what the officer said from his mouth, and my response is, how am I supposed to keep up with these laws that consistently change every day? And it's very hard from our side. From the state level, they just said flavor ban. It was very broad, flavor ban. There was nothing like, okay, specific with it. And now, Fresno City, in terms of like the police and what they're doing, is they're just targeting whatever they want. Like they said, they come in here, they're on Google, searching up, is this considered a flavor? And they'll just take it. Like I said, they'll eventually leave you a few. They'll take 5, 10, they'll leave you 2, 3. For what reason, I can't say. And I just want to put in my 10 cents. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Next individual. Please state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. I live in 9667 Valley Court, and my name is Jasveer Sarai. So, closing business is not a solution. We need all the business keep running. So, I don't know who this idea to become a closed business and put those family on the street. They have employee work there, they have their kids, they have to feed their family. There's a lot to do. Their kids have to go to school. Some of these people have smoke shop for 20 years, and they even bought the property. And they may be still there making the payment on their property. If we shut down their business tomorrow, what's going to happen to their family? Who's going to take care of them? Our council members? I don't think so. Why don't we do this? If we want to close the smoke shop, let's buy the smoke shop from them, give them the money what it's worth for, and let the city council member close that. Okay? Why not? Why we want, if I come to anybody's house tomorrow, I tell you your house is not in the right direction. Let's move it from here. Would you move that house from there? I guess not. So why we are telling some business member, we are business owner, they are doing their business for 20, 30 years, and just wake up today and tell them we have to close your smoke shop. You think they're going to let you do that? They won't let, any of this business owner won't let the city close their business. Because they have a family behind them. It's not a good idea to close business. And we came and talked to Mr. Manager other day, and we gave him the solution so we can change something. And he took off the notes, we gave him, but nothing has been changed. Then what's the reason for us to come talk to him if they're not going to even change one line of that audience? The issue is when we came here, we talked to them, we gave them a suggestion. Let's work together, sit on the table, let's find the solution, what can we do? And they even not heard us, not even one single line has been changed so far. All the paperwork as is was last month. So just please look into, they have their family to feed, their workers, they have their family to feed, not to the closed store. If you guys want to close the store, let's pay them for their business, okay? And then we can close them. Without that, we're not going to let any business close. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other individuals who would like to speak in opposition? Please state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
How you doing? Stephen Renteria, 2999 East Rickert in Fresno. Shutting down these businesses, I don't think is the answer. Obviously, a lot of these business owners that have worked and abided by the law to get where they're at after so many years, decades, It's just like your ABC license. What happens when you serve an underage minor? You have fines. You lose you face suspension. You get shut down. But you cannot. I think it's unfair to base one bad shop and base everybody else off of it. Now, if there's, like one of the gentlemen said, if there's something with landscaping, trash, it falls back on the owners. I manage a commercial shopping center. We have a smoke shop there. When code enforcement came in and fined, I was made aware of the situation as property manager, as a representative of the owner. We followed up and we made sure that they handled everything and they sent us evidence of needing. Now, when there's a school built right by an establishment that they've invested in over time, it's unfair just to go and shut them down. Now, I get it, the kids are our future, but I've witnessed some of these smoke shops, when present, turn down underage kids, and what they say is, hey, well, we can get it, we'll get our dad to get it, we'll get so on. I'll be honest, my child has vaped with a friend at school, and I hammered on her. I'm not really a parent for discipline, but I punished her in my own ways as a parent because I don't support it. When she's of age, that's her choice. But as a parent, I think what the city should do is hammer on where the source is coming from, not just the whole thing. Do their investigation. That's what the money's for. That's what taxes is for. That's why we pay. We're all here to work as a team, but putting everybody with their back against the walls, I don't think is the answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have another individual who would like to speak in opposition? Please state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
Ashraf Akenshaw, 731 East Browning Avenue. I've been in business since 2013 is when I've opened my first smoke shop. We followed every rule. Every couple of years, there's a new rules that will come out. And we always follow those rules. We always get the visits from CDTFA. They check our invoices, and the past couple of years has been really hard since hasn't been regular like visits with code enforcement coming in, 10, 15 cops coming in, and I feel like our workers are getting violated. We're getting violated, like everybody else was saying. Every day is something different. They're making excuses. Of course, you're gonna find violations and if you're looking for them. That's in any business. But targeting just smoke shops, that I just remodeled my smoke shop 2 years ago. I put almost $200,000 in there. And I have 5 years lease left. So if you're telling me I have to close my store, I have loans I gotta pay, I got mortgage, I have 3 kids. So it's really hard. It's not easy just saying, oh, there's these smoke shops are all bad actors. All these other 400, 500, businesses they talk about, it's not just smoke shops. Why not put the same rules, same everything to all these that sell tobacco? But when just targeting a specific industry, we're all businessmen. We're trying to succeed. We're trying to bring tax revenue to the city, but it's hard when we're getting limited by, the harassment and not getting heard from the city itself. We try to meet halfway. The people that are doing, doing gambling, selling drugs, close them down. It's illegal. That's been going on since 2020. They said they're going to limit the smoke shop, licenses, but they didn't do that. And half of these smoke shops that do the bad things, they don't even have license. They open 24 hours. We open from 10 to 10. By 10 o'clock, we're closed. We're home. I want to be with my kids. I don't want to be there in the middle of the night. I just want to follow the rules. But if there is no rules, that's getting made up every day, other gentlemen said, one day they'll come in and they wouldn't take this thing, but the next day they'll take it and then fine you for it. They'll give us a ticket with no invoice what they took. How are we supposed to know what can we write off? That's a loss that we have to take. And the next day they'll come in and the same thing. The thing they didn't take that one day, they'll take it again, today. And we're allowed to sell it. That's the biggest issue. That's something that's not flavored. I think there should be a better communication between the city and the business owners so we can stay in this, in this business, in this city, and provide for our families. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other individuals who would like to speak in opposition? All right, one last time. Any individuals who would like to speak in opposition? And my apologies, you already had your chance to speak. Yeah. All right, we're going to go ahead and close all public comments. Phil, do you want to address some of these concerns?
Yes, so in response to some of the comments about this text amendment being focused at certain individuals, that no, this text amendment is really focused at a particular use, and so it really is providing regulations for a specific use, and so that would be smoke shops, and it provides regulations similar to other requirements and regulations for other businesses that might have result in certain nuisances, such as the off-sale of alcohol, some of the lighting requirements and the landscaping requirements that are included in this proposed text amendment are some of the same requirements that other types of businesses or uses are also being subject to. So it's not just focused specifically on this particular type of use. So there is a list of prohibited products within the proposed text amendment, and that includes cannabis and cannabinoid products, drug paraphernalia not directly related to legal smoke and vapor products. Maximum of 25% of the floor area of the premises may display smoking paraphernalia for sale or viewing. And then other products prohibited by law, such as flavored tobacco. So that would be based off state of California requirements. And then it also includes on-site or online gambling activities that are not related to the California lottery. Those are also prohibited. So the code does include a list of prohibited products. It does kind of rely on some state law. And that's probably, as far as responses go, all I have.
Okay. Any questions, comments to the city staff?
You know, I keep on hearing the smoke owners, they keep on saying that they do not know what the regulation is, what are they supposed to, I keep on hearing that. What's the answer for that?
Well, the unfortunate legal answer is that the city has no obligation to explain the law to every smoke shop owner. And there's an expectation out there, whether this is fair or not, that they are aware of what's on the books. And so the city shouldn't be putting itself in a position to provide legal advice to outside entities. And that's probably the best way I can answer your question.
Okay. Any questions for the city staff?
I did have a question. In terms of providing legal advice, would a workshop or something of the sort, or even if they had their own, I mean, just for example, a Facebook page where you guys work together as a community and you talk about what just happened in your shops and what to look out for, is that something that can be done?
That's something that definitely could be done. We could probably also put together a frequently asked questions type of a sheet where we're not addressing specific questions.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions for staff?
Oh, I did have another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I saw the term lottery. What does the lottery entail of? And how would specific shops be picked if that were something that were to occur? I think I asked this question last time also.
So you're not talking about prohibited product lottery,
Right,
but...
no, sorry, I'm talking about like the lottery if this goes to, well, when this goes to council and they're making decisions.
Bill, I think I can answer that
Okay.
question. So the lottery is, because the system is a first come, first served basis, whenever the number of applications for a conditional use permit under the ordinance exceed the number of licenses available, then the city would engage in a lottery to pull names out of which applications are permitted to be filed and move forward through the process, rather than having discretion over which application.
And by pull names out, you mean pull names of just random applications, or would each application be looked out and then selected?
It would be random. Random qualified applications.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, another question I kind of observed as I was listening to the community. I keep on hearing that there is state of California, they have their own regulations. State of California say, these are the laws, these are things. Then they're saying city of Fresno has their own stuff. Is like what's up with that?
I'm not sure I understand your question. California can write its own laws, and the city of Fresno can write its own laws. Fresno is limited to not violating state law, obviously, but if California gives us the room to make laws within their laws, then we have the ability to do that.
Gotcha. Bill, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make a motion. I want to ask, is it Mr. Sammy? Is that your name, Mr. Sammy? Can I make a motion to ask him a question? Anybody second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor say yes? Yes. All opposed say no? Just want to ask you a question. So to the point that Attorney Jans made too, I'm in the finance industry, right?
Okay.
So, you have a couple bad apples will screw it up for everybody.
Yes.
Okay. So for example, like annuities or 2020, they passed this thing called the Regulation BI, meaning that I need to make sure that I do, whatever I recommend has to be in the best interest of the client. If not, then I'm going to get sued. Right?
Okay.
But what we have in our industry is, even though it's heavily regulated, unfortunately, we all pay the price for a couple bad apples, right? So, we hire attorneys, we have advisory boards.
Yeah.
Within the city of Fresno, do you guys have like an advisory board or like a committee where
We formed
you
an
guys...
association, yes. We do got our lawyers on hand, yes. All of that was formed recently as well. Like we said, moving forward, we are finally compelling the whole organization within ourselves and cleaning up. Organically, 15 to 20 stores have shut down. The illegal bad apples have shut down, up to 20, I think, or 25. How much? 27 illegal acting and illegal business conducting stores shut down. Majority of them had no business license. So organically, you will come down to 60, 65, maybe, the legal conforming stores are staying, the law-abiding ones. They're law-abiding with the rules from the California state, very strict and severe rules as of January 2025, which we abide by and we're all adjusting to. It's a blanket ban on flavors, no more this, take this out. Every store is busy taking out boxes of product and just throwing them away. We can't sell it no more. And that law all changed overnight. But when the city comes in and tells us, I've witnessed it myself, code enforcement, no, you can sell this. Okay, I'm gonna put this back on the shelf, a clear cigar. 5 days later, they come back and take it and give you a fine. That's a contradiction of law. You told me last time you were just here, it's okay to sell. I mean, they need to get in line with their code enforcement and police department and come to an agreement on, okay, this item, we all agree is clear and safe to sell. It's legal from the state, we should have it legal for the city too. Not come up with my own, whoever walks in your door, the law's in his hands today. And how he feels from the next guy is two different laws. Okay. There's no unification between code and police when they walk in, or code between code in that fact. It can be this officer has a different perspective than that officer today. They need to get in line with their laws.
Thank you.
We're aligned. We got our association, our lawyers are aligned, our lobbyists are aligned. Everybody's in line with us moving forward.
Thank you.
I mean, grandfather us in, like you guys said.
Thank you.
We've been here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bring this back to the commission. We have any comments, question, motion? I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to make a motion. Okay. I think, I'm very sympathetic to all these business owners, being a business owner myself too. And like I mentioned, in my industry, there are a couple of bad apples mess things up for us. And that means that it's going to cost me a lot more money in regards to hiring attorneys and doing all these things just to stay in compliance, okay? But remember, what we're doing is we're making a recommendation to the city council. So this is not set in stone. And you have to remember that this is a living document, because ultimately, smoke shops, whether you guys like it or not, the way the world is moving nowadays, we're thinking about our children, ultimately, okay? So just like liquor licenses, this is what the wave is kind of going towards, being more strict, more transparent, holding people more accountable, okay? I'm going to make a motion to recommend the adoption of the the environmental assessment, dated January 15, 2025. I'm going to go ahead and make some changes to it. Is that okay? I'm going to recommend that instead of 7 smoke shops per district, we move it up to 10. I'm going to recommend that instead of an 18-month amortization period, I'm going to move that to 24 months. For any smoke shops that is currently in the sensitive area within 1,000 feet, okay, I'm going ahead and have them grandfathered in. So the 1,000 feet sensitive area will only apply to new smoke shops. Okay, so that's my motion. Do we have a second?
Chair Vang, just to clarify, you had said there that you were going to you recommend adoption of the EA and that you were going to make changes. So the recommendation here is to make changes to the text amendment.
Correct. Okay. That's correct. So I have a motion made by me. Do we have a second?
May I make a comment?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I appreciate when the people from the anti-tobacco group talked about the tobacco retailer license, and I don't know if that adds another layer on top of the state, the city, and then this thing. But it seems to me that the issue isn't just with the smoke shops, it's with all the tobacco retailers. Even Mr. Jan said some of the people that they inspected weren't smoke shops. So it seems like it should, if we're going to apply these rules to the smoke shops, we should apply them to all of the, with your recommendations, but apply it to all the tobacco retailers. And maybe look into this tobacco retailer license idea.
How do we do that in regards to, if we're going to limit the smoke shops, can we add like a provision in there that to consider any stores that are selling tobacco, even if it's incidental? Or that's going to be like a total...
Chair Vang, this is going to get into a whole legal analysis that we're going to have to do for you. And frankly, you've had that opportunity since all of this has been out for the last several weeks to come up with those questions. We could have come up with a solution for you beforehand. Frankly, we're here now, and it's your time to make the recommendations. And I'll remind you that your recommendations are advisory, so, you know, you put them in, they're in there, and they go to council, and council will have to deal with it.
Could we recommend that the council look into making these rules cover all tobacco retailers and smoke shops? Can we make that recommendation?
I'll answer it in this way. You can make it as part of your motion.
Okay.
And
So let's...
I also wanted to know, I mean, I think your recommendations, I agree with some of your recommendations. I would like to hear if anybody else has recommendations, so we can just make a list of recommendations that we've all considered. Is that possible?
That's fine. I mean, can we go ahead and if you... So why don't... So with my motion on the table, do we need to go ahead and vote on that? Or can we go ahead and make amendments to it? Friendly amendments? Okay. So, yeah, that's fine. Commissioner Lede, do you have a friendly amendment?
I do. I have well, I would like to actually give my recommendations, and if you agree or think that's something that we could amend, that's great. And if anybody else does as well, that's wonderful. I just, wanted to...
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
things.
You can state
Okay.
it, and then anyone that I can include in my recommendation, my motion, if I...
Okay, perfect. I know the text amendment did include not just 18-month period and going over, so being able to consider appeals or consider the business owners and how it affects their business and being able to perhaps get an extension based on their lease and on their specific business. So I thought that was a wonderful recommendation. I think it would be really important to do what we spoke about, a code enforcement workshop. It seems that there's a lot of animosity between the business owners and code enforcement, and it would be good for everybody to be on neutral terms and talk and be able to not get the legal information, but just have a workshop. And then lastly, I know I asked about the lottery system, but I think a merit-based system is also something to recommend, and it could be based on those business owners. And just a few things that I thought would be important is, of course, you've already covered the grandfathering. Also, their business plan and their community impacts. That's something that can be considered. Their experience and their compliance history could also be something that is taken into consideration on this merit-based system. And also, I think there should be, as mentioned, immediate closure for anybody that's gambling or selling cannabis, anything of that matter. So those are my recommendations.
That's fine.
I'd like to also include the issue of the conditional use permit, that if somebody has an existing business and they're permitted, then they should not have to go through that process. But for a new smoke shop that wants to open, I think that is something that would be acceptable. But I have a real problem with forcing someone that has an existing business to have to go through that process at this point.
So what I'm going to do is with my motion,
I want to add, there needs to be a clear communication. It seems like there is a lot of communication missing between the city, law enforcement, and the business owners. Remember, we are a community, and as a community, we need to uphold and lift every human being. So I think there should be a better communication. There should be a tool that businesses could visit and learn more about, and share their concern. If the business owners have concerns, they should be able to easily access the city as well.
Okay. So my motion is going to be with the friendly amendments, okay? With the friendly amendments, that we're going to go ahead and, in regards to the lottery system, I do agree with you. Basing it off of merit should be based off of what Commissioner Lede said, whether it's going to be your history of the business, your tenure, how long you've been there, your experience, okay? Based off of maybe potentially tons of citations and whatnot, okay?
Chair Vang, I just want to point out the fact that a lottery system and a merit-based system are two opposing forces. And so I think your motion would be essentially to eliminate the lottery system.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead and eliminate the lottery system and have it strictly based off the merit system, okay? With the CUP, I'm going to go ahead and continue to have the CUP. I feel like that's a good opportunity for a lot of these businesses to get evaluated and assessed, okay? So that's going to be my motion. My motion is not going to include the CUP. My motion is going to include the CUP. Okay. So that's my motion. Motion's on the table. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Chair Vang, if I can clarify.
Yes.
Your motion is to recommend approval with all amendments which have been brought up.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Okay. So we have a motion made by me, second by Vice Chair Bray. Let's go ahead and take vote on this, please.
Can I ask, I mean, if it's including all, then shouldn't it include eliminating the CUP?
Well, I think I specifically stated that we're going to keep the CUP then. Okay. I want to keep the CUP on there. Okay. So let's please take vote on this.
Commissioner Lede.
Yes.
Sorry, public comments are done.
Commissioner Calandra.
No.
Commissioner Shergill. Vice Chair Bray.
Yes.
Chair Vang.
Yes. And again, I want to make a note that it's going to go to City Council. So go out there and get your voice heard, okay? The only thing we can do is advise and give our recommendations to the City Council. It's up to you guys to have those conversations with your representative, attend the meetings, and address your concerns, okay? All right? Do we have reports from the Secretary?
Sorry about that. I'd just like to note that the next meeting on March 5th will be a long one due to the two items that were continued from today to that meeting, in addition to the items that were originally scheduled for for that meeting, so please go ahead and plan on that, and look forward to seeing you then.
We have any unscheduled communications? I see none. It's currently 7:39. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.